Philadelphia in 1793 was already the largest city in the young United States, a metropolis approaching 50,000 people. It was a dense, ambitious capital shaped by global trade, river traffic, and the pulse of a new republic. In this video, we are using modern forensic tools to bring the historic engravings of William Birch and the street studies of John Lewis Krimmel to life. This allows us to shift perspective, change camera angles, and move through these scenes in ways their original artists never could. Before we walk into the haze of the waterfront, let me know in the comments, where are you watching from today? Our journey begins at the Delaware River waterfront. By 1793, this was the city's primary artery, a forest of masts linking Philadelphia to the West Indies, Europe, and the wider Atlantic world. The docks were a point where local life and global trade intersected, but in July of that year, they became the point of infection. The ship Sans-Culotte docked here, carrying refugees, and hidden in its water casks, the Mosquito. Notice the hazy yellow-tinted sky. The air you breathe here tastes of metallic vinegar and the sickly sweet rot of peaches liquefying in the gutters because the merchants are too dead to sell them. We can see a sailor collapsing against a crate of coffee, his skin the color of dried tobacco, his body already being consumed from within. This is where the city's pulse first began to falter. Step several hundred feet inland, and the architecture of reason fails completely. This is Dock Creek. The vision of a clean country town did not account for the gravity of waste. By late summer, this inlet has become a stagnant vein, an open sewer filled with tannery offal, slaughterhouse blood, and the green scum of industrial bark. It does not flow, it stews. In the relentless glare of the afternoon sun, Dock Creek has become an incubator. The stench here is a physical weight, a mixture of stagnant rot. The black water reflects a city that is rotting on its feet. At the center of the grid stands the First Bank of the United States. Its blue stone columns and mahogany interiors represent the calculated future of American credit. You are standing at the closest point of extreme wealth to the epicenter of the plague. Today, it is a silent vault. The money remains, but the leadership has vanished. Inside, you can see the mahogany counters are coated in a fine layer of dust and a greasy film of whale oil. The bank functions as a skeletal husk, its silence a testament to the abandonment of the elite. As you move through these empty halls, you can almost smell the expensive wax and feel the weight of a world that has simply stopped moving. Walk into the narrow canyons of the poor. These brick tenements are the city's internal organs, and they are weeping. In these rooms, space was more valuable than silver. Families did not rent houses, they rented corners. A single room might hold 3 generations, sleeping in shifts on floors damp with the city's excrement. In this reconstruction, you can see the walls sweating with moisture. The symptoms here are a visceral horror. It starts with a leaden tint to the skin, followed by the black vomit, partially digested blood that smells like a slaughterhouse. It was a hive of survival where the only privacy you found was inside your own mind. The seats of power are now hollowed-out monuments. The president's house, where George Washington lived, stands empty. The dark windows are like blind eyes, and the air inside smells of abandonment. Washington and Jefferson have fled to the countryside, their carriages following the same escape routes as the fever carts you see in the street. Next door, at Congress Hall, the laws are silent. The rows of empty desks are covered in dust. The ink has dried in the wells. You are witnessing a republic in a state of suspended animation, its heartbeat found only in the rhythmic crunch of the wooden wheels on the gravel outside. These buildings have become skeletal reminders of a government that could not govern a biological disaster. To manage the carcass of the city, the authorities turned to the only people who remained, the volunteers of the Free African Society. They became the city's immune system, exploited under the racist bluff that they were naturally immune to the plague. They were not. They died at the same rate as the white citizens, but they stayed to stoke the engines of survival. They labour here, at Bush Hill. Once a mansion of high society ambition, it has been repurposed into a death house. It is the city's maw. Inside, the dying and the dead were indiscriminately mingled. The volunteers move through the ward, their knuckles raw from lye, their faces tied with sponges soaked in vinegar. They are the ones who enter the architectural throats of the tenements to extract the bodies that white hands refuse to touch. All paths in the silent summer eventually lead to the Potter's Field at Washington Square. This is the city's final excretion. It is a vast, hungry throat opened in the earth to swallow the forgotten. The smell of fresh lime, a failed chemical shield, is the only scent that pierces the atmosphere of rot. The ground is a tangle of limbs and rags, human DNA being returned to the swamp from which the city was carved. Through our reconstructions, you get a glimpse of the trenches stretching into the sunset, a dark earth that has swallowed 5,000 stories. The end of the silent summer was not a victory of policy, but a biological off-switch. In early November, the first frost arrived, snapping the wings of the mosquito and freezing the nurseries of the swamp. The jaundiced sky cleared to a sharp, brittle blue. As the frost hardened the mud, the elite returned. The carriages rolled back into Philadelphia, their iron wheels grinding the very soil that had swallowed their neighbours. They reclaimed their polished desks and their beeswaxed parlours, stepping over the trauma of those who acted as their shield. If there is another city, another moment in history, or a scene you would like to see brought back to life, let me know in the comments. Subscribe to explore more vanished history and walk the shadows of the past.